Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we have headlines from our city, from our state, from our country. We have your comments, we have your questions. Today, we have good news, we have bad news, we have ruffled feathers, we have high-speed chases. I mean, today's broadcast is the bomb. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And we are going to have an amazing broadcast today. As always, we love it when you join us. It is Friday, October the 8th, and it is a pleasure to see you. It is a pleasure to welcome new friends. So if you are new, this is the first time that you're watching, sit tight. We may seem rowdy, but we are very, very, very sweet people indeed. If you are new, let us know by writing the word new in your comment, and we will not give you a lollipop. We will simply say, welcome to Coffee and Headlines. If you have something really important that you wish to bring up during the broadcast, it helps a great deal when you add the letter Q at the beginning of your broadcast. This allows us to know, we keep an eye on these, so we gladly react to whatever you share with us one way or another. So, oh my God, and it's Friday. Today is our neighborhood profile. We're going to talk about Paso Ancho, one of my favorite places in the city, or a place that I love that I walk through to get to one of my favorite places in the city. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, I hope. I read your comments from yesterday, and you guys were just out of control, wonderful. We don't like to make fun of other people's misery, and I am sure that there is at least one individual out there that suffers from that disease that we were talking about yesterday. But whoever comes up with the names for these diseases, seriously, think about it. Anyhow, let's get started because we have a lot of things to cover. Let's dive into the news. As always, news, then weather, then lighter news, then chit-chat, and then neighborhood profile. Let us just do this. And today we start with good news. The state of Jalisco has applied 6 million COVID-19 doses in its 125 municipalities. We have had 6 million people vaccinated in our state. That is excellent news. This was announced, yes. This was announced by the Jalisco Secretary of Health, Fernando Peterson, who also took the time to thank all the people that have participated in the vaccination campaigns. He also confirmed that a vaccination campaign for folks that have not received any vaccines for whatever reason is coming, but he did not confirm a specific date just yet. Now, just before the past administration ended, we reported on the fact that the City Workers Union was trying to maneuver a piece of land that belongs to the city and have it leased to the union for a period of 30 years so they can throw their own parties and otherwise entertain themselves. Residents in the neighborhood where they were planning to do this decided, no, 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 no. This is our land. It's public land. You cannot have it. And now the workers' union are knocking doors on the new administration. Despite the fact that this union, just as similar unions throughout the country, is well endowed, thanks to over 2,000 contributing members, and they could easily obtain their own piece of land on their own for their offices, private sports facilities, party rooms, and such. They expect to get the land for free from our city. I don't know enough about these issues to know whether that's right or wrong, but it sounds really fishy. Or maybe really crocky. Another crocodile was captured and relocated to a safer habitat. This time around, the 1.5 meter long specimen was sauntering around the Rio Quale until the nice folks from the local environment office managed to snatch it and take it away. Folks out there, you and I, we are reminded that that if we spot a crocodile out there on the loose, we should keep a minimum distance of about 10 meters. We should resist the temptation to throw food at them, and we should call 911 to report the sighting. And last but not least, we should not go swimming in the ocean late at night. Among the latest maintenance repairs that the city has undertaken, they have finally, cue the next sound effect, they have finally gotten around to fixing the potholes along the Libramiento. Have you been to the Libramiento lately? It's like it must be like driving around the moon or something. But finally, this was fixed, and this is all very, very good news. We now have two stories about neighbors, or rather folks in different neighborhoods. The first one needs a little bit of explanation and context, so we're going to start with a map. We are looking at part of the hotel zone here. We're looking at the maritime terminal, and we know that this street here, let me zoom in, this street here, Maria Montessori, this is the street that has been repaved or is in the process of being repaved. And this is the street where all the flooding went on during the rain season because the work was not complete, and some houses, unfortunately, they got water inside of their homes and such. But it's almost done, or it is completely done. We haven't seen it in a while. We're going to walk it soon. But check out what happens at the end of Maria Montessori. Right here. Right here. Well, it ends up at Avenida Mexico, which then becomes Avenida Los Tules, and Los Tules is part of Fluvial. But can you see this gap here? There is no road on the map. Well, guess what? The city went and built one. The city went and built a new access road to enter the neighborhood of Fluvial, but the very nice neighbors of Fluvial, the very nice and anarchist neighbors of Fluvial, took it upon themselves to block passage through the brand spanking new bridge, arguing that the street belongs to them because they pay maintenance fees to Fluvial, and because the new access bridge makes their neighborhood less secure. Now, I'm not an expert on how Fluvial is different than other colonias in the city. I know that it was developed as a development, and as such, through the existence of Fluvial as a neighborhood or as a development or whatever the hell it's called, has had fishy reactions to certain things. Like, for example, they don't want city buses going through Fluvial. And when Costco first opened, Costco could not open at 7 o'clock in the morning like other similar stores could, because it was located in a residential neighborhood. So for these very nice anarchist neighbors to come up with a notion that they own the streets in a colonia, I don't know the ins and outs. All I know is that this looks fishy, and hopefully the neighbors will come to a nice agreement with both this city and the Fluvial Association, and we will all be able to enjoy being able to move about. Because if you look back at this map, hold on, where's the map? Here it is. I mean, it only makes sense that this street will continue all the way over here and connect with this other very busy street. But you know what? I don't live there, so I cannot tell you what's going on exactly. I just thought, if the city builds you a street so that you can go through it, that you might say thank you or something to that effect. We have another neighborhood story, which is rather relevant today. This one comes from Paso Ancho, where public transportation service was suspended when the main access road was severely damaged by the river currents when Hurricane Nora hit our city. The neighbors here argue, and rightly so, that if access through this damaged road is being granted to tourism vehicles without problems, specifically the vans that take tourists to the Canopy River back and forth, city buses should be allowed the same access. A request to that effect was denied by the past administration. And as we will learn during our neighborhood profile, it takes some 25 minutes to walk from Paso Ancho to the Libramiento. So it's easy to appreciate how this can be a challenging task for those that need to get to work on a regular basis or for people with mobility issues. The new administration has yet to make a decision on this matter. Now, let's turn over to the weather and see what we can expect for this weekend. Of course, I didn't turn on the weather, and it helps when I do, doesn't it? Hold on just a second. Hello, weather. Come to us. Going once, going twice, and sometime before Christmas. There you go. All other weather apps are fake news, says our snarky weather. And let's see. It is 30 degrees, feels like 38. Humidity is at 85. And our temperature in Fahrenheit is 85 degrees. And our weather forecast for this week. No, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on just a second. I meant to show you the weather forecast. Just one second. The weather forecast for the weekend: humid and partly cloudy today with a high temperature of 33, low temperature of 25. Tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be humid and partly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 33, low temperature of 25 again. And it'll rain on Sunday in the evening and overnight with a high temperature of 31, low temperature of 23. And now, what is next? Let's see. What do we have next? Yes, we received a lovely note from Diane yesterday. Diane was the lovely friend, new person here at Coffee and Headlines that asked about Molino de Agua. And of course, our reactions were a little ruffly. So she was concerned that she had upset me or us or someone. And she reached out to me directly and said, well, I didn't mean to upset anyone. All I wanted to know is information on the neighborhood and the building. So because she wanted more of an explanation, as we know, whenever we have answers that apply to more than one person, we always respond here. We respond here during the broadcast. So Diane, first of all, ruffling feathers is part of our everyday task. The blessing and the curse of getting feedback from a bunch of locals that are not necessarily invested in the well-being of tourists, as we are, is that everything that we share here is not sugar-coated. We live here. We are English-speaking locals, so we deal with the best of our city and the worst of our city on our daily basis, and we all need therapy. Frankly, we all need one another so that we can commiserate, because we live in a city that has made it a common sport to say everything's wonderful, because everybody tends to be afraid of what tourists might think if we say otherwise. But not here at Coffee and Headlines. We specifically reacted about Molino de Agua, the building, because it is an eyesore, And if I started rambling yesterday, is simply because I should get on the more common sense habit of when I disagree on something and it's just my personal opinion, I should simply say it's not for me. And that is the case with Fluvial, with Molino de Agua, rather. It is a lovely building, but it's not the kind of living that I would want for myself. Is it a pretty building? Yeah, it is pretty. Are the maintenance fees astronomical? Absolutely. But that's neither here nor there. So please don't feel like you offended anyone or that you ruffled feathers. This is who we are, and this is what we do. We tell it like it is. Now, if you don't know much about the neighborhood, then chances are you're not a local. And that's not a crime and that's not a sin either. But we are a broadcast, we are a project by and for locals. There are a lot of resources on the internet, on websites, on Facebook for people that are just getting their feet wet on a new neighborhood. We love to hear from people that are planning on moving here and retiring here, but for better or worse, we focus on how we can make our lives better in Puerto Vallarta here and now. Not in a year, not in 2 years, not in 3 years. So I hope that gives you more of an explanation as to the kind of project or the kind of experience that we offer here. And I hope you will find what you're looking for either here or elsewhere. Moving right along, we have 5 things to do this weekend from the New York Times, groovy things, from a new documentary featuring Madonna to a hip-hop dance performance and more. And I'm going to leave that in the show notes. And if you've been paying attention, or if you have clicked on like for this page, you probably noticed that tomorrow's broadcast will be pre-recorded. That's right. Yours truly, for better or worse, is not going to be available tomorrow morning to broadcast. But we always make sure that we prepare a lovely program for you to be able to have something to talk about. So tomorrow morning, 10:30, just as always, there will be a coffee and headlines. Where am I going? Well, it occurred to me that any respectable man of my age should know how to walk in high heels with a certain amount of dignity. So I have enrolled in a crash course on how to strut my stuff while I'm wearing high heels. And I'm not kidding. I will learn how to walk in high heels this weekend, and I will have the video to prove it. So there. And now, with that said, and I hope you'll have a great broadcast tomorrow. We prepared something really, really fun, and I think you're going to like it. So now we are going to tackle. Yes, it is time for Paso Ancho, and we are going to. Let me cue the presentation. Hold on just 1 second. Paso Ancho, Paso Ancho. Yes. Here we go. Boom. Let me make my image a little smaller again. I made it bigger to be able to record tomorrow's broadcast. So how do I make this smaller? First, let's do that, and let's do this. For starters, I should tell you this about Paso Ancho. Shame on me for visiting Paso Ancho so frequently and not having a decent pool of photographs of the neighborhood to share with you, considering the fact that I walk through Paso Ancho at least twice a month to go enjoy myself at Moro Paraíso. It is amazing that I don't have more photographs of Paso Ancho, but we will have to make do. Paso Ancho, of course, you know, is right next to the river, the Rio Cuale, and we are going to be discussing this neighborhood today. There it is in all its glory. And how do we get to Paso Ancho? Well, we can reach Paso Ancho by car by taking a turn onto Manantial from the Libramiento. Of course, Manantial is the street that was nearly destroyed during Hurricane Nora just a few weeks ago. It is also the only street that you can drive in and out to Paso Ancho and all the other colonias. Here's another view of all the damage that was caused that was caused on the river. Here you can see how an entire lane of this street disappeared at some spot, and it'll take some time for the city to be able to fix it. Now, you can walk to Paso Ancho, or you can take the public bus to Paso Ancho whenever they resume that. But you can also access Paso Ancho. You can head into that general direction on foot if you walk through the footbridge, this beautiful footbridge in Colonia Benito Juarez, and you cross over. Now, let me show you these two options on the map, as they will become very critical in our description of Paso Ancho. So here's a close-up to the axis. We were just looking at what's going on here at the Libramiento. And here's a road that we've been talking about. And just as an FYI, there is the footbridge that we have just talked about. And just as an FYI, there is a Kiosco convenience store there. And this is the last one of that kind that you will see heading in this direction. Moving forward from that point, your only chances of going shopping for groceries or anything will be at small corner shops along the way. Then, of course, you notice another road here, but this road does not cross the bridge. This road is on the other side. Rather, it does not cross the river. The only way to cross from one side of the river to the other here is by walking this suspended bridge, which, by the way, fell down during Hurricane Nora, but now has been repaired. As you continue along Manantial Street, you reach this overpass that allows you to, go from one side of the Rio Cuale to the other. Now, I don't remember when this bridge was built, but it was definitely built within the last 20 years, because I remember when it was not there. Prior to this bridge, the only way to cross the river onto Paso Ancho was by way of a hanging bridge, a suspended bridge for pedestrians, and that bridge is no longer working. It has been put out of commission. And if you wanted to cross the river by car, you could only do so when the current was low enough. So you're pregnant, you're having a baby, you're on the other side, and it's the high rain season. You're going to have your baby at home because there are no hospitals on the other side. Just ahead, as you're getting over that bridge, you can see the old bridge structure is still standing, but the bridge, the steps are no longer there. So it's just something that is sitting there. And next to it, here's the same footbridge from the other angle, and you can see how down here there used to be a way to cross with your car, but you cannot do that anymore. Now, once you descend from the overpass that leads to Paso Ancho, you get to the quote-unquote downtown area, and here is where you find this beautifully painted church facade and a small park with a kiosk on it across the street. The neighborhood has recently taken it upon itself to give these public spaces some well-deserved TLC. And of course, once you're there, Paso Ancho itself is a tiny, tiny colonia with basic shops like a local butcher and so forth, a little hair cutting place, a chicken place, anything that you will find in a small neighborhood. The very popular El Rio Barbecue is located in the heart of Paso Ancho. Of course, they are closed through the summer, but this is a very popular destination. But even when Paso Ancho is such a small colonia, here, when we think about Paso Ancho, for better or worse, we think about all the wonderful things that are beyond Paso Ancho. And that's the appeal of this area. Whereas it's not so easy to get in and out of it, it's the one neighborhood that puts you so close to nature from the city. If you look at this map, here is the Libramiento, and it takes about 20, as I was mentioning earlier, it takes about 25 minutes to walk here to downtown Paso Ancho. But there are a lot of people living in all these colonias. The public bus continues all the way up to this general area. And the place that I frequently mention in our broadcast, Moro Paraíso, the restaurant that I enjoy hanging out at on Sundays or Saturdays, it is located down here, and it takes about 45 minutes to walk all the way. So one could easily consider, okay, you could walk to Moro Paraíso, not to Moro Paraíso, you could walk to El Rio Barbecue, for example, if you wanted to explore, and then you could take a taxi back if you wanted, So this is a little bit of a taste as to what you can find in Paso Ancho. And before I switch over to our chit chat mode, I want to show you something that we showed before. This is something that we did before the pandemic, and this is one of those high-speed walks. And this walk is going to show us precisely what it's like to walk from Libramiento all the way to Moro Paraíso. So it's one of those high-speed things that I do from time to time. You won't be able to look at things in detail, but it'll give you a sense as to what you can find. Also keep in mind that this was recorded before the hurricane, and things look a little bit different nowadays. And there you have it. I hope this gives you a general idea of what is all the way out there. Now, let's take a quick look at your comments. Lots of great good mornings, as always. Dun, 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 dun. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It is always great to read your good morning. Marie says, Friday Follies. I love it. Um, let's see what else. Lots of countdowns, lots of people heading back into town. That is wonderful. Um, what a great last name. I cannot even begin to pronounce that, but it's beautiful. Good morning, Ernie. Um, I love last names. Let's see. There's a question. Has anyone been able to download their vaccine certificate? Great question, Sly. I tried like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and my second vaccine information had not been updated or uploaded. So when I downloaded it, it was incomplete. I have not traveled and don't need to travel, so I haven't worried too much about that. I wonder if anybody else has been successful in doing it and having the information be thorough and accurate. Do you know if the vaccine for those who have not yet been vaxxed will include both first and second shots? Marie, I can only imagine that depending on the vaccines that are used for these last minute leftovers, of course, they will include first and second shots. I mean, the government would be irresponsible and say, well, you missed the chance to get your Pfizer vaccine, so we're only going to give you the first shot, so screw you. No, that would never happen. So obviously, I think that this is going to be the case. I see that some of you responded to the question of the certificate. This people that block this bridge on Fluvial do not speak for all of us. I understand that, Cindy. Again, from what I've read and seen on videos, it is just a handful of disgruntled neighbors who figured, well, we're entitled to this because we pay for our maintenance fees. Sue says the problem is speeding. Well, again, there are solutions for that. And whether the city put the rocks there or the neighbors put the rocks there, I don't know. All I know that some neighbors put their cars there and they blocked passage with cars. And the city does not necessarily have cars to block streets. So it has to have been the neighbors. I was quite amazed to learn that there are 193 different colonias in Puerto Vallarta. Well, that's one of the reasons why it's fun to have this project, or at least I think it's fun to have this project, Pat. So many tourists from north of the border arrive and they think that life begins and ends in Colonia Emiliano Zapata. And of the percentage of people that think that life begins and ends in Colonia Emiliano Zapata don't even know that that's the name of the neighborhood where they come and spend their dollars. We are a big city. We are a huge city with a lot of personality and a lot of great neighborhoods and a lot of great places to explore. How nice that so many of you and so many of us are now, looking at other areas of the city to consider a home. Let's see what else we have. The old Molino de Agua was a little paradise. I cringe when I see the new. Of course you do, and so do I. We all need therapy. Of course we need therapy. This city makes you need therapy. Um, let's see. Glorious, sir. Get down with your bad self. Yes, I plan on sashaying and shantying with high heels all through the weekend. Let's see. Is a drag performance in my future? No. No. I just want to be able to put the shoes on and say, damn it, I know what it's like to not fall when I'm wearing high heels. So there. Let's see what else we have. After my lesson, we'll walk. Woohoo! Will walking Wednesday be done in hills? Not in your wildest dreams. We live in a cobblestone city. What are you thinking, Javier? I would need to be high as a kite to even consider that. After my lesson, when does therapy start? Alan, the lesson is part of therapy. Um, okay. I don't want to spread false rumors. A bunch of gay guys. We're going away for a couple of nights, and one of the diversions that we're going to have is we're going to teach each other how to walk in high heels. So there, I've said it. Let's see what else we have. Ay, 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 ay. Uh, about the heels. Maybe start off with a walking stick. Marie, I think I'd rather have a nice gentleman whose arm I can hold. When it comes to playing with sticks, one for walking, no, I'd rather play with other kinds of sticks. Let's see what else we have. Questions. So, can you drive a private car up there? Yes, you can, Bill. And there is access through the dangerous road. It's not going to fall apart, at least not overnight, or at least I don't think it's going to fall apart. So there are cars going back and forth right now, and so there you are. Let's see what else. Chris says, I've lived up in Buenos Aires for 4 years. I walk my dogs up to Paso Ancho and I love it up there. That is awesome. That is awesome. I really, really do know. I really do love going out there because you're so close to nature from the city. I think it's the closest you can get. Is that ejido land up there? Yes, it is, Javier. So obtaining property is not simple, but it is possible. Horseback riding up there is wonderful. Yes, that is the neighborhood where my friend Logan and I support or help support the horse riding community and the people that provide those tours. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Loved your music choice on the video. Thank you very much. Great food at Moro Paraíso. I love going again at least twice a month. It's part of my therapy. And no, we will not be walking in heels all the way over there. Let's see what else we have. We were able to download both of our vaccines for Pfizer, says Bill. I suppose you found out that your information is correct. I haven't tried mine. Again, I'm due for it, but again, I haven't needed it. So that is what that is. Will you start off with Princess Heels, graduate to Queen Anne's, and then high heels and stilettos in one weekend? Fuck that. We're cutting to the chase and we're going to the largest, highest, tallest, meanest mothers we can climb onto, even if we have to take pills to remove the height anxiety. Let's see what else. Another cue. It would be fun to see a map showing the shortest walking route to El Rio from Old Town. Old Town. Old Town. Old Town. Where is that? We have walked from the Jorullo Bridge to the city where buses start. Old Town, you must mean El Centro. I don't know where Old Town is. No, I'm being snarky. Of course I know. It would be fun to see a map showing the shortest walking route. Well, Rand, Google gives you the tools, Google Maps. You can plot the shortest routes using Google. So feel free to explore that. How much further is the canopy zip lines? It's not much further, Angelo. It is from Moro Paraíso. It's probably another 20-minute walk, but it's an uphill walk. So you probably would not want to walk all the way up there, but it is not far. Again, all that whole area of the city is so worthwhile to explore. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of Coffee and Headlines for today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned something new. I hope you were inspired. And again, I continue finding myself apologizing for the fact that we don't cater to tourists, but we don't. And again, there are a lot of resources for tourists, not so many resources for us that think, feel, and live the city as locals. So we're going to continue to hold on to that notion, for better or for worse. And if we continue to ruffle feathers of tourists that don't get all the information that they want, like how far is the beach from my condo, ni modo, what can I say? This is who we are. This is what we do. If you like it, stick around. If you don't like it, there's a lot out there. There are a lot of places to get good information about the city. So enjoy the weekend. Have a great time. I hope I don't trip on the high heels, and I'll keep you posted on my shenanigans. Luna will mind the fort. And again, tune in tomorrow. I put together some great surprises for you. Have a great one.